Alright, I'm gonna pull him over, spin kick him off the ledge, and then chicks will think I'm super cool. Are you fucking serious? Alright, I need to prepare myself because this game is, well, I don't even know how to start off because this game went in all sorts of directions I didn't expect. BloodRayne, developed by Terminal Reality, was released in 2002 for the PS2, Xbox, and the GameCube, with a PC port arriving a year later. A few years later after release, I was around 8 or 9 years old and I was at my local, but now extinct, Blockbuster, where the cover of the game immediately caught my attention, because at that time I was already into the Hex Girls and Shigo, so BloodRayne was already ticking all the boxes that are still going to this day. And yes, my parents allowed this 9-year-old kid to rent the game. Unfortunately, I didn't get far because I was 9, and not that smart when it came to following instructions, so I never made it past the first level. Cut to present day, BloodRayne has always been in the back of my mind as that one game I never got to fully experience, and after finally playing through the game, all I could say is, what the fuck? I say that both in an endearing and literal way. As we start the game, we are introduced to Rayne, a half-human, half-vampire hybrid who likes to stalk other vampires at night, and she is absolutely kicking ass. This gets the attention of the Brimstone Society, who knows a good protagonist when they see one, and agree to invite her into their organization. So we got vampires, a secret society dedicated to hunting underworld creatures, and a half-human vampire main character. Can you guess what is our next destination? That's right, we're going to Louisiana, baby! The time is 1933, and Rayne is being mentored by another half-human vampire named Mince. They are here to investigate into these strange masses infecting people in the swamp, turning them into monsters. With the introductions out the way, let's finally get into our first fight of the game, along with the gameplay mechanics. Oh shit, what the fuck, they have guns? Okay, how did I do that? What the fuck is going on? Oh my god. On second thought, let's talk more about the story first, yeah? Rayne is tasked with saving the non-infected and destroying the flesh masses around the area, and to her credit, she does it with incredible ease. Although upon arriving to the safe zone where Mince is, our lovely and strong mentor gets distracted by a frog and then is just fucking devoured. Oh yeah, and then everyone else you saved is killed too, cause fuck you, I guess? Anyways, Rayne swears vengeance and tracks the monsters to the ritual site where the Queen of the Underworld has been summoned, where Rayne just basically bodies her due to a gameplay mechanic we will talk about later. When Rayne examines the corpse, a strange piece of rib is sticking out, but when she grabs it, the rib forces itself into Rayne's body, knocking her out. Now this is just a prologue of the game, so can you guess what happens next? Is it A, Rayne is forced to track down a coven of witches? Or B, Rayne is sent to the underworld through the demonic rib in her body? Well, if you chose either of these, then you're totally wrong, because we're hunting Nazis now. Somehow, a Nazi is in Louisiana and pulls the rib from Rayne's body, nearly killing her as he does it. This man's name is Jürgen Wolf, and he will be our main antagonist for the game. So we fast forward 5 years later, and Rayne is now ordered to hunt down a secret Nazi research group that is dedicated to studying the occult and paranormal. From here, we are given our main objective.
Killing Nazis.
Rayne has a Christmas list of Nazis she must seek out and kill. So at this point, if you never played the game before, you might be thinking to yourself, holy shit, is this game just Wolfenstein with vampires? And the answer is, well, yeah, kind of. Okay, I mean, maybe not. So the first boss was a giant flesh creature. Maybe the other bosses will be more like...
You're a big one. Mahler, I presume?
Gegengruppenführer Wolf said you might come this way.
Ah, god damn it. Okay, yeah, it's Vampire Wolfenstein. Whatever, let's just move on, okay? BloodRayne is a third-person action game, but there's some weird balancing going on with the combat that I'll get into in a bit. Rayne's signature weapon are these twin blades, which are basically just bladed tonfas, which honestly, they are really cool. Despite never finishing the game till this year, these blades have always stuck with me. Just like Rayne herself, the blades have this design that are simple yet iconic. Speaking of simple, the melee combat in itself is nothing to go crazy about. Rayne has a set melee combo she could do that gets new moves added to the chain the further you progress into the game. The problem is she only has this single combo, and once you have the full chain, you're just spamming the same move over and over to the point where you will be sick of it by the time the final act rolls around. Now, to the game's credit, the melee and shooting systems can be switched between each other very naturally. So if you get tired of slashing, you can easily start blasting at any given moment. Now, shooting is in a weird spot in the game. Rayne can dual wield all sorts of gun combinations, and when she starts blasting, she starts blasting. The problem is, with how many enemies the game throws at you, the difference between the time it takes to shoot up your enemies and slash them up is pretty much comical. The Nazis spread apart fairly often, so you can't really rely on getting AoE damage all the time. So in most cases with melee, you're killing one Nazi at a time. If that sounds bad, let me just show you how long it could take to kill a Nazi in the later levels just with melee.
Don't want to play anymore.
Now, imagine doing that, but for each Nazi in the room. On the flip side, let's take a look at how long it takes when you just start blasting. Yeah, the difference between the effort is kind of absurd. Although in the early game, you can't be too trigger happy because the ammo supply can be scarce enough to make you think twice about it. But towards the end of the game, there are guns everywhere and blasting your problems away becomes much more accessible. Even when you hunt down the Nazis on your list, you can just easily stun lock them with your guns, making it an easy fight, easy life situation every time. But then melee has Blood Rage, which changes things a lot. The more melee damage Rayne does, the more she fills up her meter, and once Blood Rage is ready, if you're playing on PC, you press caps lock to activate it. Yeah, I know it's kind of a weird keybind, so I highly recommend to just switching that to the delete key because that's what it fucking does. It just straight up deletes enemies, and not just regular enemies, but the bosses too. This is what I meant about the Queen of the Underworld fight. Throughout the game, I did something called the Blood Rage test to the bosses, which is to see what bosses get absolutely destroyed by Blood Rage. And I'm here to report all but 2 bosses failed the test, and were easily cut down within seconds of it. The power boost Rayne gets with it is massive, and on top of that, she slows down time so you can easily dodge any attack the boss throws at you. And that's assuming they aren't stun locked from the attacks already. I love me some good boss fights, but Blood Rage makes the bosses so laughably easy that even the health bar glitches out sometimes because you're kicking in their shit too fast. And that's just on medium difficulty. Remember Nazi Jorgen von Strangel I showed earlier? Yeah, I kicked his ass in like a minute. The Queen of the Underworld? Yeah, that was maybe 30 seconds. The power gap between the weapons is just so jarring. The melee is fun, and you want to use it because Rayne's blades are so damn cool, but guns are just so much better and faster than they are. But then you have Blood Rage, which is just an instant room clear at the push of a button. Like I said, the power gap is jarring. Of course, Rayne is still part vampire, so there is a blood-sucking mechanic where Rayne can latch onto her victims and drain them while regaining health. For nearly all enemies, with the exception of bosses and some elite units, Rayne can just hop on and get some health anytime she wants. This may sound like it would cause pacing issues with the combat, but it surprisingly flows well with it. Because while you are latched on, you could steer the body, using it as a human shield to block bullets. So giving the suck isn't just an easy break time. You can die doing this, but by giving you control of the body, you are still actively in combat. I also really like this because you can see the Nazis are in a ton of pain, and sometimes the pain is so intense they just kind of fire their weapons mid-suck. It's a nice little detail to show Rayne isn't making this a pleasant experience for them. If you want more to do while ripping out a Nazi's neck, Rayne can actually fire her guns at the enemies in front of her, giving you a chance to kill some enemies while you get your health back. There is an oversight with this because if you drink from the back, the camera doesn't point in front of you, where your gun is pointing, so you can't see what you're shooting. So if you want to take out enemies while you have a drink, you gotta do it from the front side so the camera could point where your gun is pointed. Okay, let's talk about visuals and sound. I'm playing the Terminal Cut, which is a remastered version of the game that had just came out last year. The game performs very well, and the remaster allowed me to run this game without any resolution issues on my 1440p monitor, which is something I can't say for other older games out there. That being said, looking at reviews for the Legacy version, it seems like the game was massively buggy. But with the terminal cut, I never experienced any game-breaking bugs, so props to the devs for not only cleaning up the visuals, but the port as well. Now, even with the help of the remaster, the game did come out in 2002. But honestly, I think the game still holds up due to its art direction. I usually like more color in my games, but the dark and dreary style of BloodRayne fits it very well. The art team knew what they wanted from the game, and I think they approached it well, and when paired up with the soundtrack, it feels like you're transported to that early 2000s gothic edge, where the pulsing rhythms of the soundtrack just vibe well with the bleak and muted environments, as they get covered in blood from all your hacking and slashing. One thing I absolutely love is when a video game has a gore skeleton attached to their models. Rayne's blades and guns can destroy enemies' bodies, sending pieces of them flying across the room. Check out what happens when I shoot this guy. Cool, what about this guy? Okay, so not everyone has it, but trust me, the ones who do always make for this incredibly fun gore piñata to break apart. This gets dialed up to 11 when you activate Blood Rage, and Rayne basically turns into a gore tornado, spewing all sorts of limbs and intestines all around the room. I gotta say, for the time, it's honestly an impressive feat to see how dynamic the gore is, which probably makes this one of the more violent video games to come out around that time. Wait, hold on. I actually do have something I need to discuss, which is the game's weird use of jiggle physics. Mince in particular has this weird thing where her boobs go fucking flying for no reason at all at any given time. I mean, look, she didn't even move during that part. It's like the jiggle physics are tied to the camera and not the actual movement of the character. What's even more weird is this only happens to Mince, cause Rayne's chest doesn't constantly look like jello during a fucking earthquake. And no, I'm not saying I want Rayne to get the same treatment, I'm just saying it's weird that it's Mince in particular who looks like the origin of the frame's calm your tits. Hell, the only other female in the game has this one shot of her tits going wild, but it's just blatant fan service. So I don't know, enough about boobs, let's just move on. Now for sound, the only thing I really have a problem with is the fights can get a bit crazy in the sound department, to the point where I was missing dialogue or fun little quips Rayne would say. Normally that's an easy fix, just lower the effects volume and higher the voice, but the game doesn't give you that option. So when fights get crazy, you're stuck with this absolute clusterfuck of sound that may or may not disorientate you as you're trying to make sense of what the fuck is going on. Lastly, let's talk about Rayne herself, cause I absolutely love her character. One of the reasons why is cause she is such a cocky, smug little shit, and I love it. A big part of this is due to Critical Role alumni Laura Bailey's performance as Rayne and her first ever credited role in a video game. If you don't know who Laura is, I highly suggest you Google her very long list of work, cause I can guarantee you will find at least one thing you like that she has been in. Whether that be her portrayal as Kaine from Nier or her portrayal as Abby from The Last of Us, which to this day still has many gamers having a fucking aneurysm just from the sight of her. Still, Laura brings this confident swagger to the role that allows her to totally nail cheesy one-liners and quips that normally would make other characters cringy. But with Rayne, it makes her a ton of fun.
So, you boys lose your arms playing catch?
No, we were born conjoined.
But sadly, separated soon after birth.
Well, when I'm done, you'll both be missing more than an arm.
Another thing I love about Rayne is something that is rare for the time, which is she isn't portrayed as some slutty action hero most characters in the genre fall victim to. Sexuality and vampires have gone hand in hand in media for ages, but Rayne pushes past that and is often portrayed as this headstrong, confident character. My favorite thing is how the Nazis treat her. When they see Rayne, they don't like stop and go, oh hey, she's pretty. No, they fucking run. They just straight up run. Nazis are terrified of Rayne, and I love every second of it. In all, it's really nice to see a female vampire be portrayed more than a sex-driven creature. Although you might want to ignore that Playboy promotion the game did for BloodRayne 2. Now let's talk about my favorite part of the game, which is the story. If you want to avoid spoilers, I'll leave a timestamp for you to skip to, but trust me, this shit gets pretty wild. Alright, let's start. Rayne tears through the Nazi stronghold and eventually encounters a high priest named Von Blute. The priest informs Rayne he believes the Aryan race are descendants of the people of Atlantis, and that a demon named Beliar was the true ruler of the world. But he was cut into pieces, and those pieces were scattered around the world. Believing Beliar's skull is nearby, the Nazis intend to gather the pieces to help Hitler succeed. So yeah, you heard it here first, folks. The way Hitler geared up for World War II was by fucking with demon parts. After killing the priest and venturing further, the Nazis are overrun by demons, turning the mission into a three-way battle between Rayne, Nazis, and demons. Eventually, Rayne finds the skull, but it was actually just hosting one of Beliar's eyes. And just like last time, the eye immediately forced itself into Rayne's body, where she now hosts part of a demon king inside of her. She also gets a cool little zoom-in feature out of it that I never really fucking used, so that's nice, I guess. After dealing with the Nazi fortress, Rayne finds out the Nazis have taken over a castle where they believe holds Beliar's heart, which is the most powerful piece you can get. With a new list of Nazis to kill, Rayne makes her way through the castle to find out that Mince is alive and working for the Nazis? You can tell she's a Nazi now because she got a cute little hat. Not that Nazis are cute, I just find it funny how she still has the same outfit with just a hat and armband added. Anyways, Rayne is now pissed and demands an answer from Mince. When she refuses to answer Rayne, the two get in a fight where Rayne eventually wins, causing Mince to fall to her death, finally ending the life of Rayne's former mentor.
Mince! Goodbye, Rayne!
Okay, I was too early on the draw there. Now she is dead. So moving on, Rayne encounters another vampire named Hendrox, who also wants Beliar's pieces to become powerful. And honestly, who could blame him when that shit is basically on wholesale at this point? He and Rayne throw down, but he runs away like a little bitch after he gets splashed with some water, and you know how it is. Now, Rayne is finally closing in on Jurgen Wolf, the man who nearly killed her when he ripped Beliar's rib from her body. Rayne encounters Mince, who is somehow alive again? And she's dead. Before being killed by Wolf, Mince explained that she was actually a double agent who was helping Rayne behind the scenes the entire time. She's even the reason why Rayne survived in Louisiana 5 years ago. Angry that her friend has been killed for the third time in a row, Rayne is ready for the final showdown. She corners both Wolf and Hendrox, but when Hendrox activates Beliar's heart, he accidentally resurrects him. And now the final showdown is between Rayne, Wolf, and Beliar himself, which is then easily solved by doing Blood Rage on Wolf and shooting the living shit out of Beliar. Yeah, it's pretty anticlimactic if I'm being honest. With all the targets dead, Rayne kicks Beliar's heart into the sewer, and her informant tells Rayne her father has been found, and they must stop him. Yeah, that last part was a subplot that was mentioned in the intro cinematic of the game and never brought up once until now, so I guess they kind of forgot about it? But hey, that's a different game for a different day. And that's it for BloodRayne. Honestly, I can't really form a solid opinion on this game. I didn't find the action to be particularly fun, but I guess that's because I am unfairly wanting this game to be more like Devil May Cry than letting it rightfully be its own thing. Although on the other hand, the game is such a great B-movie throwback where all of its negative quirks and its weird plot lines make it incredibly endearing to me. If anything, I just wanted to see what they would throw at me next. When the game threw a redhead vampire into a fucking Nazi mech to fight other Nazi mechs in 1938, I knew I couldn't say in good faith I didn't like the game. If you're interested in BloodRayne on PC, the terminal cut is for sure the way to go. And if you're playing on console, the PC version seems to be the only way to go because Xbox only has BloodRayne 2, and PlayStation doesn't seem to have it at all. Don't even ask me if it's on Switch, you already know the answer. Maybe the terminal cut will come to console one day, but for now, if you want to play the first BloodRayne, PC seems to be your only option. But at $15, it's honestly not a hard sale. I'm Chris from Genuine Chill. If you liked the video, you should like the video, and maybe subscribe for the next review because I am a college graduate who has no idea what the fuck they are doing with their life, and I sincerely appreciate your support. I don't know what I'm reviewing next, but it will most likely be something old because I do not get early access to new games like everyone and their mother seems to. Till then, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Oh shit, she did have the jiggle physics.